All right, we're back. We're going to be playing some music later. We're going to be answering some questions now. And if you're watching after the fact, don't forget, like the live, subscribe if you're new here. Love to hang out and answer questions and talk to people about music, guitar, streaming, stuff like that. Not necessarily in that order, but you know what I mean. We got plenty of stuff. Man, what a great show last night was. If you didn't watch it, go check it out. Really, truly fantastic show. We smashed a bunch of guitars again. We played a whole bunch of music. We had a great time. Oh, one of the best. One of the best. Unbelievable. So let's see here. We had some people who left some comments on the last video. Let me see if I can find that for us. That way we can answer some questions ahead of time. Whoops, hold on. Sorry. I hate it when you go to, open something and it's like, oh, you want me to open this too? It's like, no, I just wanted this. So let's see here. Let's see if we can find. Let's see if we can find the questions from the previous episode. We got Zoe. Hey, Zoe says, hey, Pat, how are you? I'm doing great. We're going to have a great show tonight. We got some questions to answer ahead of time. So thank you to the people who asked some questions ahead of time. Let's see here. I'll go to my videos. Here we go. Go to my community. Let's see here. We got... Let me see here. We got some questions. Sort by newest. Here we go. Take that off there. All right, so we got somebody named Hibiscus Knots who said, "What's my least favorite? What's your least favorite band?" It was they said boy bands. All right, makes sense. I think you know what? I'm gonna say something real quick. You know how K-pop is basically the boy bands of now? I have a very good feeling that a lot of people, let's take away the complaining aspect of it, but let's talk about music in general. I was thinking about this a lot, and a lot of people will say certain genres are dead, and it's interesting that, like, you still have people listening to Elvis, you know? You still have people listening to the Beatles. You still have people listening to Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Michael Jackson. Whole bunch of bands and artists out there that are no longer literally alive, and figuratively, they're thriving still. It's interesting that that happens in music. So I thought that anytime somebody said the phrase that something is dead, it's more along the lines of it's just not new or creating more stuff. Sure, I get that. But that doesn't mean the genre is necessarily dead. Like, look at punk. Punk's been around since the 70s, and it's still got new bands. It's still changing. Look at ska. I'm not a big ska guy, but like ska's had first wave, second wave, third wave, all that other stuff. It's very weird how people will claim something's dead, but it still really does live on, even if it's not the most popular thing in the world. So if you look at K-pop, for example, boy bands are still a thing. They have been a thing since the late 2000 or the late 90s, early 2000s. That's when they really hit their peak in the United States, but go to Korea apparently, and that's just been like the biggest thing in the world. And then they came over here. So don't tell me boy bands are dead, don't tell me that stuff's gone. It's just getting a second wind. So it's really interesting how that works. So it's funny that people think that those things are dead. In my opinion, like look at guitars. I always talk about guitars on the show. I got plenty of them. But it's just interesting. That's another good point. Jimmy says boy bands have been around since the Beatles. I wouldn't fault you for calling the Beatles a boy band, But look at guitars. Like the Fender Strat has been around since 1954. This guitar was made, what year was this made? 2008. They have a new model every year. It's the same thing, but they just reissue it. The popular stuff never dies. It's weird how people think that they die, and they really don't. I just wanted to talk about how people kind of need to get out of the mentality of something being unpopular anymore, and just really understand that there's people that really enjoy the stuff still. It just needs a reissue. There needs to be a reboot. I like to call a lot of bands reboot rock. Like even my band, like even the stuff that I write, some of the stuff people are like, this is just grunge. I'm like, yeah, I love grunge. And they're like, yeah, but grunge is dead. I've literally, you could go through my comments section. People say that sometimes. I even made a video about it. But it's just interesting that there's a lot of other people that are like, I love this. I want this to be like the dominant thing in my life. Like I want more bands like this. So it's just interesting to see that people kind of try and push it away when really some of the stuff is never left. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. I always find it interesting that people kind of shun away from certain genres and certain artists and things like that. So yeah, it's very strange. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then Hibiscus Knots also had a question saying, how to practice together. That's an interesting one because I have my point of view on how to practice music, but ultimately it's whatever works for you. Some people, like for example, we were talking about the Beatles a second ago. Some people in the Beatles, what they would do is like Paul would come forward. They'd be like, "Hey, I have a song. I'd like to write a song, everybody." And everybody else would kind of gather around. They listen to the idea, the main riff, and the structure, and then they would have their own spins on it. Like for example, I know that George Harrison. It was rumored that Hey Jude, they were going to have like a guitar part at the very beginning while Paul's singing the song, and he was like, "George, no, I don't want you to do that. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I'd rather you not." And so it's very interesting to hear that that song could have been completely different had Paul not said, no, I don't want you to do that. Let's do it together. But I just realized you said, Hibiscus said, how to practice, not how to write together. Those are two different things. So how to practice together. In my opinion, the best way to practice is you have to act like you're performing. And I know some people kind of get that backwards. It's very interesting. They'll treat practice like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just practice. We don't have to treat this seriously. When really most people treat the live show completely the opposite. I think people need to treat practice dead serious, like as serious as possible. You're playing something, if somebody's like dragging, so they're going slow, you need to be like, hey man, like I appreciate you. You're my friend. You're my bandmate. You're slowing down. You need to keep up with time. Everyone else in the band is on time. Can you please, hurry up? And then you have to really, if you make a mistake, you got to be like, sorry guys, I keep screwing this up. I really got to do this. I really got to make sure that this gets taken care of properly. And when you play the live show, that's when you have to be kind of loosey-goosey with it. Because if you don't, if you're like, oh, I screwed up and we have to start everything over again, completely ruins the momentum. Completely annihilates the mood. So when you practice, that's the time to get things ironed out and just really nail it. Because when you play live, when you're playing live, you have to have this mentality of that's the show. If you screw up, if your guitar cable comes out, if your amp dies, you gotta just be as fluid and elastic as possible. Because if you screw up and everything stops, that sucks. No one likes that. So to answer your question, how to practice together, you got to find your groove, literally and figuratively, but you got to be serious about it, no matter what. You got to be serious, and if people aren't treating it seriously, you're not going to go far, dude. I'm going to tell you right now. If your drummer is showing up late, like my drummer used to, if your bass player is just always asking you what are the main chords of the song so I can play the root notes, it's not good. So I hope that helps you, Hibiscus. I hope that helps out your question. So Thalen says it's a bunch of metal covers of the Beatles songs, butchering the Beatles. No, have you ever heard of Beatallica? The Metallica Beatles cover band? Like they have a song called Hey Dude. So funny. Yeah, there's a lot of bands that are very interesting. But again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier with the whole aspect of, people want something that's older. Yes, they want that style with that classic, like that mentality, but they want it new. They want something familiar but new. So you can't go too far out there. It's very interesting how people kind of, I don't know why these people do this, because like when I listen to punk rock, I don't go, punk's dead. Punk's been dead since blah, blah, blah. Since the 80s, since the 90s, since the Ramones, since the Sex Pistols, whatever. I don't do that. I just go, oh, cool. NoFX, great band. Oh, who is this? Misfits? Great band. Oh, is this the later Misfits stuff? Not as much of a, not as much into it. Still good in its own way. Who's this? You know what I mean? You got to just understand that there are similarities and that you're never going to get every single note, every single beat, every single song exactly like it was. But you want it to be similar. So I really like that. It's a very interesting experience to have all this music out there and people trying to I don't like to say gatekeep because that kind of doesn't make sense to me, but they're trying to wall it off. They really are trying to be like, no more punk rock now. Sorry, grunge is closed. It's like, no, let me write my music. You know how many 80s hair metal bands are still around? There was a band called White Smoke years ago I got to see, and they were awesome. It was like seeing Iron Maiden. It was a really fun experience. And then what's funny is years later, I met the dude, one of the guys from White Smoke, the singer. He was in a different band. And I was like, why didn't you guys keep doing that? That would have been really cool. And for some reason, yeah, they just were like, nah, we couldn't do the hair metal thing. We wanted to do something a little different. And I was like, nah, man, you should have kept going. It would have been a really great experience. Have you guys, everybody in the audience, have you guys listened to a genre or a band or something like that, and people were kind of pushing it down because it's not relevant anymore? It's not new anymore. Like look at Greta Van Fleet. People were like, dude, it's just a Led Zeppelin ripoff band. It's like, yeah, but you know how hard that is to really nail? The first album from Greta Van Fleet was excellent. The second album, not so much. But I was really excited to hear some new Led Zeppelin. That was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. I had a great time with it. Yeah, anybody hear a band recently or genre or something like that, and you went, you know what, I'm glad this is coming back. Because there was a group, I don't remember the name. I can't remember right now, but there was a group, there was two guys. What they do is they would show up at parking structures, you know what I mean? Like a big old underground parking lot or something like that. And they would use all the natural reverb, and they would do music that sounded just like Alice in Chains. And boy, was that a breath of fresh air. It was really great. Really phenomenal experience to check that out. I wish I knew who they were, but for some reason I don't have a clue in my mind of who they are, but I'll probably look it up later. Yeah. Nobody has a band they were listening to recently that reminds them of an older band or an older genre. You guys got to get on that. You guys got to go start listening to music. I'm trying to think of another band recently that came out and just really just blew my expectations away. Oh, McGee. Did you guys listen to McGee yet? That's like a blast from the past. Very 80s, very not synthwave, because synthwave was also kind of like a rebirth of an old genre. So that was great. I made some synthwave music. But yeah, McGee really nailed that like Genesis, Phil Collins era kind of thing. And it was so good. Oh, so good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, McGee. Nobody's listened to McGee? I don't believe you. You guys got to check out McGee. His live stuff. He has a bunch of live recordings that are incredible. I can't play them on the show right now because it's copyrighted, but it's spelled MK. I mean, this is old news by this point, but MK.GEE. McGee. Dude, he's phenomenal. Phenomenal. And he has this really interesting way he plays the guitar, too, which is really beautiful. He's a fellow Jaguar player, too, so I'm really happy about him. Yeah, he's a fellow Jaguar player. So it's good to see Jaguar players out in the wild. But yeah, he's got some great music out there. It's just when you hear the guitar part, you're just like, I've never heard anything like that. That's so bizarre. But again, it's familiar. It's that old style of when they were just starting to get into digital. So you can hear that kind of digital influence from the 80s. And they really just try to get synthesizers and try to get those just those very weird sounds. And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful music. So I'm a big fan of McGee. I can't wait to see what he makes next. I've seen him involved in a bunch of projects. Apparently he's been working with Justin Bieber, if you can believe that. Apparently he did a great job. People enjoyed it. I haven't checked it out yet, though. But nobody listened to anything that reminds them of an older band? I don't believe it. Hold on a second. What is everybody listening to right now? What's everybody checking out? Thallon says kind of like Buckethead. Buckethead's been around for a while, though. I mean, he's been around since the late 80s, early 90s. So I don't know if that really counts necessarily, in my opinion. Buckethead's great, but he's been relevant. You know, he's been good. Jeremiah says, funeral for a friend. Really? Okay. Very cool. Axon says, The Church. Never heard of the band The Church, unless you're talking about a literal church. Then I don't know about that, bud. No idea. Lidl says Druidess is a new band that sounds... I don't think they sound like Deftones or Pantera. I've heard Druidess. They sound to me, maybe some of their songs. And you know what? I'll concede that. Some of their songs, yes. But Druidess was another one of those bands that kind of sounds like the grunge era rebirth. And it's very interesting. I've heard Druidess. They have a couple really neat songs. They're very heavy. But I know for a fact that the guitar player is a big Pantera fan. He plays a Dimebag Darrell signature guitar, which is pretty cool. But listening to their music, if you listen to it, it's not, at least the songs I heard, it wasn't very technical. It wasn't very metal. It was just very heavy. But there was that chorus, that watery kind of sound to it. So, Axon says, The Church are an Australian band. That's why I don't know them. Okay. Been around since the 80s. Interesting. Yep, never heard of them, dude. That's what's weird about Australia is that, like, you guys have some great music, but it never gets out. And for some reason, our music gets to you guys all the time. All the time. For example, there's people in Australia that listen to my music, and I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. They're like, yeah, we're kind of starved. So we'll hear a whole bunch of music out there. We're really trying to find some stuff. There was a small group of people that were trying to get my band to play down there. It was really funny. I was like, dude, I can't even play out of the state right now. What makes you think I'm coming to Australia? That's crazy. But no, they were serious. I got to go. I went to their Discord, like unannounced. It was really funny. They had like 100-something people in there. And I popped in. I was like, hey, what's up? And they're like, is that a real account? Is that really him? And I was like, yeah, dude, what's up? And they were like, what? And then there was a kid that he like challenged me to chess really randomly. I beat his ass. He was in here not that long ago. He's like, I still want that rematch. It was great. It was a really fun experience. Rachel says, I've been listening to Def Leppard recently. There's a lot of 80s hair metal and like 80s rock that I never really got into. It's kind of a lost era for me. Yeah, I never really got into it. Lil says, can you play Angry Pickle by blah, 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 blah? Yeah, dude, I'll play it for you right now. I got you. Yeah, here, let me get my guitar set up. Yeah, dude, I got you. I'll play that for you. All right. All right, let's do this. What was it called again? Yeah, I got you. Okay. Let's see here. We'll pull this up for you. All right, here we go. We're going to play that song right now for you. Here we go. Get some distortion. Walk this way, talk this way, walk this way, talk this way, walk this way, walk this way, walk this way, talk this way. That's all I know from that song. Sorry, buddy. All right. Meteor says, I'm writing more terrible music right now. Meteor, are you going to practice writing more often? Because I remember when I was listening to your record, a lot of the songs really felt like you were playing it for the first time. So really, I think in my opinion, if you want some unsolicited advice, you didn't ask for it, really try and nail those songs down. Didn't you get a new guitar recently too? What was it, the Jasmine guitar? Yeah, really get those songs down, man. Really get them down. And that's coming from me. All right. Let me do something here real quick. Get that guy out of here. All right. But let me see if there were any other questions from before, too. Hold on. There was a Hibiscus who asked some questions ahead of time. I think there was one other person that asked some questions. Let's see if I can find their information. There we go. So Chaw says, Chaw is somebody who comes here all the time. Chaw says, how to create a band schedule with everyone having different events that they have to go to and stuff. Well, that's really like a question of, what's it called? That's really a question of scheduling, which isn't really music related if you think about it. But um, yeah, if you're trying to get things scheduled for music, you just kind of have to decide on a time and day. And I mean, obviously that's pretty self-explanatory. If somebody is busy that day, there's nothing you can do about it. If you go to another thing, there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to make sure people make time for it. I'll tell you this though. When you're in a band, you do have to kind of treat it like a job. Like you can't just be like, "Hey, I can't come in today. Hey, I can't do this today." You're kind of obligated. A lot of people will fall into two different camps, two different extremes when you're first playing music with people, and that is on one hand you have people that are dedicated and they want this to be their job, that's what I fell into, and then you have the people that are kind of hobbyists. They're kind of just like, I kind of want to play guitar, and I think those people, I hate to say this gonna be kind of extreme. If you fall in that group, you probably shouldn't be playing music with the people on the other side of the aisle, because it's like, if you're a bunch of hobbyists, you're kind of wasting the people that are being serious time, and vice versa. Because like you're not going to have a good time with somebody that's trying to be professional about it. So like for example, what was it called? The people I'll give you an example. I used to play with somebody who basically was only available like 2 times a month, and I was like, no, dude, you can't be in a band doing that. How are we supposed to practice and keep up? And he's like, dude, I think that's enough time. And I was like, no, that's a terrible schedule. I was trying to play like every weekend. Like that was what I wanted. I wanted to play every weekend. So if you're trying to play music with people and you're trying to get a schedule, Chaw, what you want to do is you want to make sure people are being serious or they're not being serious. And you don't have to come at them like a really crazy, attack or something like that. What you want to do is you just have to like let them know, like, hey man, like we're trying to be more serious about this. If you can't be available, if you're having trouble scheduling things, you gotta find a different band. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like you can't. Some people are part-time employees if you think about it, and some people are full-time employees. Some people want the deal. People want to support the business. Other people are just there for the paycheck. Which, hey, that's you, dude. That's totally you. But if you're really trying to get out there, you have to find people that are also being serious. Because again, that mismatch of professionalism versus hobbyist energy is what will get you into trouble later. The amount of times that people are out there really trying to get their stuff and really try to get shows and get paid for it, it doesn't work out with people that just don't care. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You really got to find that schedule. You got to find that balance. So, but yeah, I hope that helps out, Chaw. So yeah, anytime you're trying to schedule things, really just gauge how serious they are. Because if they're not making time for you, you shouldn't make time for them. It's like being in a relationship. It's like if you're trying to have a long-term relationship, don't date the person who's just going on dates. Yeah, don't do that. It looks like that was all the questions that were there ahead of time. So, if you guys got questions about practicing, playing music, guitar, streaming, I'm surprised people don't talk about streamings as much. Streaming is crazy. Sing for me, buddy. I got a song I can sing for you, but you have to answer a question for me. Is that cool? We'll answer your question for you. Yeah, if you guys got questions, you can let me know. I'll see if I can answer them for you. As far as some says, give me a little tune. What question? Okay. How many B's are in baseball? How many B's are in baseball? Let's see if we can get this. Oh, we're looks like we're thinking a little too hard about this one. Oh, it looks like it's too tough of a question. All right, never mind. Looks like that guy was a bot. No, I don't understand how many B's are in baseball. Let's see here. Nope. No idea what that guy's talking about. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see here. Amanda says none. Bees can't play baseball. No, that's a good answer. I like that. But no, that's not what I was asking. That's funny. No, it's one of those multi-part questions. So, but never mind. Never mind. He left because he was like, I have to answer questions. Meteor says, any tips for streaming music? It's kind of too vague. Let me give me a better question of that, because like it could go from write good music to make sure you're making videos as much as possible and posting them with your music, regardless of, that's like saying, how do I play baseball? It's like, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different ways I can answer that. But what is it specific to you? Like, what are you trying to do? Blake says, how many bees are in baseball? I think like 3. Never mind, you guys. Did you guys remember what happened yesterday? Remember how somebody was asking me to play music and they're being obnoxious? You'll see. If somebody else does that, I'll get them. So, Lidl says, what's your streaming setup looking like? You mean like the hardware or the software? You mean the whole thing? What do you got? Exactly, Blake. Exactly. That was one of those trap questions. So they don't see it coming. So don't worry about it. All right. But yeah, as far as streaming setup goes, I could talk about it a little bit. But it's kind of, it's kind of big. Lidl says both hardware and software. It's kind of boring to answer that, but I could run through it a little bit. I've got some interfaces that I work with. One puts the music and the backing tracks through this little set of headphones. My guitar, my vocals and stuff go through a different interface. That way I can listen to exactly what's going through, what you guys are hearing and what I'm hearing. Turns out my headphones before actually got busted. They were like blown out. So I was hearing like this. It was like this the whole time. And it was like really bad. So I really didn't enjoy it. So I had to get new headphones. But I got some interfaces. I had to build a new computer. So I had to get a much better processor. I had to make sure the power supply was good. So that's the hardware setup. Guitars, obviously. Pedal board. That's the hardware. So you got to get a good computer, interface, guitars, pedals if you need them, which you kind of do. And then, you got your microphones, you got your cables. But as far as software goes, I use Ableton. Ableton's a fantastic software, but you can use anything. You can use Reaper, Audacity. You can use Logic, FL Studio, whatever you got. There's stuff out there. But as far as like specifics go, it's kind of too technical and it's kind of boring. So, but that should give you a big hint on it. So, let's see here. Thalen says, can you give us 3 new bands that you think we should check out? Not really. I mean, I don't know what bands you know and don't know. And it's kind of one of those things where I don't know what genres you like, too. So maybe if you're a little more specific, Because for example, one of the bands I was listening to recently was Better Lovers, but they're like a really heavy hardcore, metalcore kind of thing. So a lot of screaming, a lot of cool, heavy chugging guitars, which I love, but I don't know if you'll like them. So, yeah, so that's another example. Or you can check out my band finals if you want to. I don't know, man. Thalen says punk, grunge, or metal. Well, this is mostly grunge, in my opinion, alt rock. So that should help you out. So we'll see. But as far as recommending stuff, yeah, you have to give me a little more to bite on. It's like saying, hey man, can you catch this? And you throw something really small at me. It's like I don't know. I'm supposed to get that. Let's see here. Amanda says, actually, bees may play a type of baseball. What is this, a ChatGPT answer? What's happening? What's happening with a pine needle? Oh, you're just being silly. Okay. Meteor says, Pat, have you ever heard of a band called 6 Feet Deep? Nope. Thalen says, well, I already listen to you almost daily. Oh, I did not know you already knew my music. I've never seen you in here. I've never seen you say something. I thought you were brand new, buddy. Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know how to recommend anything to you. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you already listen to my music, what's your favorite song from a band, or what's album, or what do you like to listen to? You don't have to know everything about it, but what do you like? Just like a really heavy sound? You like a light sound? What do you like? Come on, give me something to work with. Give me something to shoot. Underrated says, I bought an Ibanez GRX 700 QA TBB. Man, that's a great name for a guitar. Any opinions on it? No, I've never heard of it. Ibanez, pointy, super strats, but I don't know. Does it have a quilt maple top or something? Usually the Q means like quilt maple. Yes, it does. Man, nailed it. Oh, is it blue? That seems like a good guitar. I don't have a problem with that. Great color. I like it. Yeah, if you guys want to see what it looks like, hold on. I'll pull it up so we can look at it together. Here, let me pull this up. Window capture. Yeah, it's this blue guy right here. I like it. What do you guys think? You like it? Wow, giant ad. Thank you. Yeah, what do you guys think? You guys like it? I think it's cool. HSH, cool pickup combination. I always find that the middle pickup gets in the way, but you know, it has its purpose. So yeah, check it out. Yeah, great color. Love the kind of a flame on it. It's funny how people pay extra for the flame, but you can just get a veneer top that kind of looks the part. So as long as you don't see it in person, then it looks good. Because if you get a real flame maple, then it like actually changes color and stuff, and that's that chatoin, which is a great word, but it is funny how that works. Yeah. Oh, so Thalen says Breath of the Dying. You might actually really like Better Lovers. Every Time I Die, Better Lovers, the Dillinger Escape Plan. Those are bands I would check out, buddy. That's what I would check. If you like the heavier stuff with screaming, dude, check it out. Gunman says, please play D-Generation X theme from WWE. Yeah, I got you, man. Here, I got you. Ready? There you go. Have a good one. Any other insanely difficult tracks? What do you guys got? Let's see here. Underrated says, thank y'all. I'm waiting for the gear like audio interface, TRS cables, pedals, etc. You're going to live stream too, hopefully. Good luck, man. It's a tough job. It's tough. A lot of people think it's easy, and it, for the most part, is pretty easy depending on what you're doing. But I'll tell you this, it can be difficult when you first start out. I'd say the first couple months because, one, you don't know how the audience will react to your stuff. Two, you're not sure how to deal with technical difficulties. Like, for example, people saying crazy things in the chat. You have to have, like, a pre-made list of bad words, of people being insulting, because you could be the greatest guitar player in the world. You know what I mean? You could be Eddie Van Halen. You're still going to have haters. You could be driving a Lamborghini and people will still make fun of your car. It does not matter. So it's crazy how that works. But yeah, man. Yeah, good luck to you. Good luck. Make sure you focus on the audience. That's a big part of it. Yeah, that's all I want to say about that. Even though you didn't ask me for help. Gunman says, please play WWE Broken Dreams. Okay, here you go. It's like, is he going to sing? Nah, I'm not going to do it. Summer. It's like, that's not even the right wrong song. I thought he was going to play Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Let's see. Meteor says, no, Pat, I got a better idea. Okay, what's your idea? Let me know. Lannon says, I'm back! What generation of Frankenstrat should I build? Ooh, whatever you want, man. I don't really pay attention to Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrats too much, but I will tell you this. Any one of them is probably going to be great. They're all going to be fun. Are you going to paint it, or are you going to buy a pre-built body? What are you going to do? How are you going to build it? Gunman says, please play Broken Dreams. Drew McIntyre's theme from WWE. You got it. I got you. Custom everything? Are you doing the woodwork? Or are you buying the body and stuff? I like the idea of like getting the parts and just putting it together. Way easier to do that. Way easier just to get the parts. Even just buying another guitar and just modifying it. That's what I do all the time. All my guitars over here pretty much are modified. So. Sean says you should take a listen to Lumiere from Lorian Taystardy. Love to hear your take. Yeah, sure, I'll play it for you, dude. Here, I got you. Yeah, well, you want me to listen to it and then let you know? Yeah, here, I'll pull it up. Let's see here. Because I definitely, 100% I'll play that song for you. All right, let's check it out. Let's check it. Here we go. Ready, everybody? We're going to listen to this. That was a short song, dude. Can't say it's my cup of tea, but, you know. If you like that, dude, go for it. If you like it, that's all you. Not my favorite. Lidl says, hey, Pat, have any modern hardcore band recommendations? That's not just blast beats. That's another one that's like, what's hardcore versus, you know, some people's version of hardcore, like punk and rock and stuff like that. It's not or metalcore. And then there's other ones, you know what I mean? Like the ones I mentioned earlier, Dillinger Escape Plan, fantastic band. They've been kind of disbanded for a while, but still one of the best bands in my opinion. But they have a new band with the guys from Every Time I Die called Better Lovers. Really enjoyed them. Love Rarely. That's another band I really enjoyed, ironically. It's love themed. It's pretty funny how that works. Botch, if you want to listen to something like in the early days of like hardcore, metalcore stuff, dude, Botch is awesome. One of my favorite bands of all time. Or Norma Jean's first record with Josh Scogin, The Chariot. Those are also great bands. Let me know if you can write them down. Gunman says, please play the Roman Beings theme. Gunman, before I do that, let me ask you a question. Hold on. How many B's are in the word baseball? Let me know. Grayson says, what beginner guitars would you recommend? Now, here's an interesting question. So when people say beginner guitar, technically that's not a thing. When people say beginner guitar, I think a good word for that would be an inexpensive guitar. Because when you get a guitar, you expect it to have like maybe a little simplicity to it. Maybe you want something that's like, you know, that's not going to have some kind of weird problem with it from the get-go because, you know, you're playing certain guitars and some of those more maintenance heavy, stuff like that. So when you get a guitar, you should really just buy something you like. I've answered this question many, many times, but do you have a guitar or an artist or something in mind that you like? Let's see here. His Gunman answer. Gunman says 1,000. Do you think there's 1,000 letter B's in the word baseball? Okay, how about F's in giraffe? How many F's are in the word giraffe? How many F's are in giraffe? What do we got here? Zoe says, I'm sorry I had to. That's cool. I didn't see what you said. So, Gunman says 100,000. Okay, I got one for you. How many F's are in way? How many F's are in the word way? Sev says, do you have any recommendations for people's first time buying a guitar? We're literally talking about that right now, actually, dude. Here's what I was trying to say. So, okay, that guy's just being annoying. Okay. I thought he was going to play along with the joke, but he's not. All right, see you later, dumbass. All right, so when you buy your first guitar, you should really not focus on, like, quote, beginner stuff, because that's not kind of a thing. You know what I mean? It's really you want something inexpensive because most people don't stick with guitar because it's, you know, they might find it difficult or maybe they liked it, but they don't love it. It happens. So really you have to tell me, like, what guitars do you think look cool? What do you like? What's the idea behind it? What artist do you like? Because, like, if you're a big Jimi Hendrix guy and you look at Jimi Hendrix and you look at his guitar and you go, wow, that thing looks sick. I like Jimi Hendrix's music. And if I get you, like, an acoustic, an acoustic baritone, something like that, you're going to be like, this sounds nothing like the artist I enjoy. This is really weird. Or if like you're really into metal and I get you a guitar with single coils on it that are going to be noisy with distortion, also not going to really work. Even if, arguably speaking, those are probably fine guitars. So you have to tell me what you like. Yeah, tell me what you like. What artist? What band? What models? Do you want to be a metal guy with something pointy and cool? Do you want to get something with let me see here. Hold on, your mom's calling me. Sorry. No, never mind. I'll have to talk to her later. You want to get something, metal, pointy, or if you want a blues guitar, why would you get a metal guitar for that? You know what I mean? Like, you have to think less along the lines of what's a good beginner guitar, and let's find out what you actually like. You know what I mean? I think that makes sense. Yeah, let's figure out what you like. Blake, you gotta go. See you later, buddy. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, let me know. Grayson says, I was mostly wanting to play blues. Okay, you got a favorite blues artist? What do you got? What do you like to listen to? Any blues songs you like? Let's figure this out. We'll find it out together. Here, I'll put this guitar away for a second. Let's narrow it down. Because in my opinion, and I used to sell guitars for a long time, so let me tell you, when you're looking at guitars, you want to find something that inspires you. You want to find something that makes you happy, makes you want to play guitar. So it could be anything. So let's go check out some guitars for you, okay? So you said blues. Do you have a favorite, like I said, do you have a favorite artist, a favorite song? What do you got? And we had another person that was asking questions, right? We had another person. Yeah, we had two people asking about guitars and stuff like that. It was Sev, right? We have Sev and Grayson. Two people. All right, take your time. Take your time. I'm going to pull up a couple guitars on the screen so we can look at it together. And if any of them jump out to you, you let me know. Yeah, you let me know. So we'll check it out. I'm just going to pull up a Stratocaster. Let's see here. It's my favorite guitar. Used to not be. Oh, here we go. The Fender Standard Stratocaster. $600. Beautiful guitar. Fantastic. Incredible model. Very versatile. Very easy to modify. You can find them used everywhere. Get a great color, whatever color you want. And if there's a part on it that, doesn't work out for you, if it breaks, you can just replace it. It's fantastic. One of my favorite guitars to recommend to people. Also, it's kind of the quintessential, you have a guitar, you probably have one of these or something that looks just like it. All over the place, man. These are all over the place. So, all right, well, it looks like those guys left or they're having trouble with their keyboards. But let me explain why the Strat's so great, because I own one. I have several, actually. And I used to not like Strats. I used to think they were kind of generic and everybody had one. But the thing that makes a Strat so great is that basically you can take it apart in your garage, put it back together. It's dead reliable. It is very easy to play. It's very comfortable to play. And they're not expensive. You can get one in any price range. You can get one that's $6,000. You can get one that's $60. They're everywhere. All over the place. Grayson says, does that come in a violet color? Oh, Grayson is still here. Okay. I'm sure there's purple ones, dude. There should be one in every color of the rainbow. So let's see if we can find a purple. You said a purple Strat or violet? It's funny you said violet. So I'm going to look at purple, though. They have wine red. It's like a purple Stratocaster. Boom! $6,000 right here. Yeah, right. But they still exist. What else we got here? Anything? Here was one for $300. Says Michael Kelly. See, there's other brands. That looks blue to me, if you ask my opinion. Yeah, that doesn't look purple. Does that look purple? Chat, do you think that looks purple or blue? That's 100% blue. There was a colorblind guy working that day, apparently. What the hell? Jeez. This is definitely purple over here. This is purple. Yeah, what's going on there? That was 100% blue. You're colorblind? You can see purple, though, right? Okay, this one's not so purple. This one's more like a rosy red. That actually looks pretty sick. I like that color. What do you think, chat? You guys like this color? I think that looks beautiful. Oh, it's a Mexican Strat. That's the one I have right over here. Pretty good price. I like that one. Yeah, that looks like a rosy kind of color. I like it, though. You got $470. It's all yours. You get a used one. How much money you got, pal? You might not be able to pick your favorite color because a lot of times they limit that stuff. If you just type in Stratocaster, you can find a whole bunch of guitars. Let's go look at used ones. Right now, there's 3,000 different types of Strats online. So let's look at the lowest price ones. Let's see here. Lowest price Strat in all the land is an Aria or a Zenny. I've never heard of Zenny. This one's in black for $80. It's made by Zenny. I've never heard of that brand, but there you go. You get a black and rosewood Strat with a white pick guard. Pretty good looking. Made in China. It's on a sticker, so if you feel embarrassed, you can take it off. Grayson says $275 is my budget. Okay. Is that for everything or just the guitar? Do you have an amp already? Do you have a cable? Do you have, picks, all that stuff? What you got? You let me know. This would probably be the better buy, though. It's got a humbucker in the bridge. You have a Zenny, not a poser? Don't? Well, keep in mind, you can't really pick your favorites if you got a very low budget. You just kind of got to get whatever you got. You know what I mean? I have everything except the guitar. Really, what amp you got? Because this might be the one for you. There we go. What else we got in here? We got anything that's reputable? There's a Squire Bullet Strat. What else is in here? Another Squire Bullet with stickers. There you go, with little stickers. Line 6. All right, you're set. You're good. All right. Well, you said purple. All right, I'll tell you what. How do you like black, red, or white? That's probably going to be the colors you get. Oh, there's blue, silver tone Strat right here. There we go. Yeah, you stop me when you see something you like. Ooh, look at this one. This one's Lake Placid blue. Beautiful kind of metallic blue color. Love it. That looks fantastic. I love this thing, dude. Squire Bullet with humbuckers and a Zenny, real big difference. Well, I've never played a Zenny, but I'll tell you what. If you're asking something online, you have no idea. Grace says, I got to go. All right. Have fun talking to your mom for me. I know I like talking to her. Well, here's my point. When you're looking at guitars, and you're trying to figure out what's a good beginner guitar, really you should just follow your heart. Because most guitars made these days, not all, most guitars are pretty reasonable. Like the build quality, craftsmanship. You can find great stuff for like $200. Easy. That look great. They sound great. I bought this Harley Benton SG copy, which I love. It's actually pretty good. I got this for less than $200. It plays phenomenal. Now, there's things that aren't great with it. The tuners aren't the best. But for $200, can you complain? Nah. It's also made with kind of a cheap Chinesium metal, like parts and stuff like that, so it's kind of questionable. But again, the part that you're actually paying for is the build quality. The neck was great. The frets are great. The pickups sound fine. You get something that looks the part. It has the actual like trapezoid inlays. Because if you think about it this way, for the same amount of money from like, for example, Epiphone, you get way, way less. So Harley Benton. Here, I'll even pull it up. Let's see if they got any. There's a bunch of brands that I'm looking at right now that I really want to try out that are really inexpensive. I'm really inexpensive. Here we go. This is Harley Benton. They have $275, a double cut Les Paul Jr. right over here. Look at that. Let's take a look at it. I've seen it for less, so $275 is kind of high in my opinion. That looks like a double cut Les Paul. That's what you want, man. I love this thing. Those are great. There's a Telecaster for $300. What else we got in here? Some sort of Strat, like a heavy metal Strat, looking good. A Lefty. Look, an Explorer with the Carina. $200 right here. Check this out. Looks like a Les Paul Custom, dude. $200. Tell me that's not a deal for something like this. Look at this thing. Oh, let's get the whole picture in there. Look at that. $200. You get the big blocks, double humbuckers, everything you want, gold plated. That's probably not real gold, but damn, that's a fine looking guitar. For $200, get at it. With a return policy, get out of town. That's awesome. I love it, dude. That's pretty cool. And then there's an Explorer for all your Metallica fans. Look at this thing. Double the price. It's a little more expensive. I don't know why that's so much expensive, but that looks like what you want if you're a Metallica fan. Ooh, it's got locking tuners. Okay, that's cool. Oh, it's got real EMGs, too. You got the battery pack there. It's got EMGs. That's the Hetfield right there, man. If you're trying to get a Metallica thing going on, check that out. Pick that up. That thing's badass. And then you have there's another brand. Let's check this out. Hold on a second, everybody. There's a brand called AIO. They have the Wolf guitars. These are cool. Let's see. Let's see. These are a little more expensive. Oh, if you're left-handed, this is the one, dude. If you're left-handed, buddy, check out this gorgeous. That is one fine piece of ace. Look at that thing. It's got abalone inlays. They look like rainbow. That thing's badass. How much was this again? $235. That thing looks like a $600 guitar for sure. And here's the other thing, too. I've played these. I was astounded at the quality. So, again, you could buy something for about $200, $300, maybe $400 at the most. Let's go look at Epiphone real quick. We'll look at something for $200 for... Oh, here we go. Check this out. For $200, brand new. $200 brand new. Whoops. I was Googling something on accident. $200 brand new. You get a flat top, so it's not even carved. You get a bolt-on neck. Again, not the nicest thing for the money. It's a fake flame, so it's like a... I don't even think it's a veneer. It's probably a photo flame, so it's a picture of a flame, which, isn't too bad necessarily, but... I mean, it's just the tuners. These are terror. These are the worst tuners you could probably possibly buy. You only get one single volume, one single tone. Again, not the biggest deal, but it's just you're paying for it. You want the best for your bang for your buck. So you gotta look. You really gotta look and see what makes sense for you as far as your budget goes. You can find great guitars used all over the place. Here we go. This looks great. What is this? The Cobra Burst. That's beautiful, but it's also $650. So let's look at some used models. Let's look at apples to apples kind of thing. You know what I mean? So when you're buying a guitar, you really have to pay attention to. Let's go here. Low to high. Let's see what we got. $25 for this. Oh, it says combo amp. They took the wrong picture of the wrong item. Dumb. Can we get some thumbs down for Guitar Center? Dumb. That's embarrassing. Let's look at guitars. Damn, dude. All right, low to high. All right, so for about $200, let's see here. 200. Let's see, it was $235 or something like that. $235. Okay, we got a couple more bolt-on necks, the flat bodies. Got a little Kramer looking one. Let's see here. Epiphone 310. That's that one right here for $175. Okay, we're getting there. Anything close to what we were looking at though? Not really. A lot of them. Well, let's look for an Epiphone Les Paul Standard. Let's see what the Les Paul Standard goes for. The reason we're looking for this is because we're doing an apples to apples. Can you find a good... Oh, here we go. Here's an SG Standard. This is a good deal. $200. This has got the set neck. 4 knobs. Apparently they had some problem with the knobs. Looks like there's some damage there too. Looks like they dropped it. So some cracks. Missing the truss rod cover. That's questionable. But it looks like it's okay. I wouldn't say this is a good deal. I'd say this is fair. But, again, apples to apples, you could be getting this for $235. Again, it's left-handed. But look at how beautiful this looks. Look at the craftsmanship. That thing looks great. Got, what are these, Grover tuners? I don't know, man. For that price, or you could get this, an Epiphone that's in bad condition. This looks like brand new. All right, let's go back. There's another brand, Firefly. Firefly makes good stuff. I played those, and I was, shocked. A lot of these brands that are coming out of China right now, you're thinking, okay, there's a lot of counterfeits. They suck, and I agree. But if you look, dude, you'll find stuff. Look at this. We got another SG, the one I was just talking about. Beautiful. Look at this, a Blueberry Burst. It's got the purple and the blue. Probably swap all those pickups for something that looks a little better. Or you could have this. You know what I mean? Whoops. What are we doing here? Get out of this. What did I click? Get out of here. All right, there we go. I don't know, man. I'm just telling you. I think that... Oh, how did I do this? Dude, Microsoft Edge, why are you so terrible? Oh, did I move the... Okay, well, whatever. All right, point I'm trying to make here, though, is you can find good gear for about $200 to $300. You can find great gear compared to, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's not a great market back then, but nowadays you can find some good stuff. You really can. But there's plenty of brands out there. So you have to find what you like. Did anything jump out to you guys? What did you guys think looked good? Because I think there was plenty of guitars that looked great. JJ says, I like the Jackson guitars. Jackson! I picked one of those up. Yeah, check it out. I put some gaffer's tape on it. Wrote all the names of the subscribers. That was pretty cool. Yeah, this is a great guitar. Made very well. Very happy with this. I picked this up for like 120. Isn't that crazy? 120 bucks. I got it used. Insane. Yeah, I like these. Yeah, let me see here. Amanda says, now I'm thinking about getting my niece an electric guitar and an amp for Christmas. 200 bucks? Oh, dude, there's plenty. You can get a pack guitar. In fact, I would recommend getting a pack guitar for 200 bucks. I really would. Let's see here. Let me close this. Go back to Microsoft Edge real quick. Turn off vertical tabs. There we go. Yeah, let's go find you a pack guitar. The Blueberry Burst looks sick. I agree. We need more blue guitars out there. I think they look great. All right, so let's go back here. Let's go look at a pack guitar right now. How many pack guitars are there? Pack guitar. A Squier always has like a get started playing thing. There's an Epiphone one. This one's not very good. 320. 289. That's a bit of a swing. Can we go lower? There's got to be lower. Strings. Okay, here we go. Okay, we have Mitchell. Mitch's Guitar Center's in-house brand. I don't think they're that bad, but they're not great. They're definitely usable. Oh, we just smashed that guitar. Do you guys remember? Just the other day. JJ, that's the guitar we smashed. I just found it. That is so fun. Or no, was it a Mitchell? I think it was. Or it was a Rogue. It was a Rogue. So that's funny. Never mind. Same color, though. Let's see. We said electric guitar. Let's see. I don't think we can find one for 200. But it looks like there's one for 289. I've actually played this guitar, and I really enjoyed it. So you get the amp, you get the guitar, you get a bag with it, cable, everything. You don't have to look at anything else. So you can find it. It looks like it's on sale right now. $289. $289. That would be perfectly fine for somebody to start playing guitar. Looks just like mine, too. Check it out. Very similar. Very similar. You got the rosewood looking, the dark wood. I think it looks pretty good. Let's see here. Amanda says, I gave her a uke years ago. She just started playing that. So natural progression, $289, not bad. Amp 2, yep, you get everything included with it. But I'll tell you this, if you're not sure on it, what you could do is you could piece it out. Like one at a time, you could get an electric guitar. And if she keeps playing it, then, you could get her an amp for like $50, something like that. You can get, because like I said, there's guitars that are very good prices. Let's look at that SG again. That was pretty cool. Was it a Harley Benton? Let's take a look at it. Where's the SG? Or was it Firefly? I think it was Firefly. Because again, if people like the guitar, they'll be more likely to play it. Oh, this one's gorgeous too. This is like their Widow series. Aptly named. Was it Firefly? Yeah, here it is. $239 for this. So for the price of the guitar and the amp and everything else, you get a much better looking guitar. Blueberry Burst. Look at that thing. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Or you could check out the Widow. This is a Widow series. They call it the Elite Indigo, but it's called a Widow. But damn, that's a good looking guitar too. That is like fluorescent blue. That looks really cool. I like that a lot. It's got the gold too. How many guitars have gold on them? You know what I mean? That looks great. But for $500, I don't know. That's a little high for what you're getting. A little high, especially when this one's $239. It looks beautiful blue. So it says I got a Strat and a Squier bundle, and it's been great. I definitely recommend. I had one of those too. I had a Squier bass for a long time, and then I eventually sold it. But yeah. JJ says I also like BC Rich. BC Rich has not been doing well. Sadly. But they have guitars out there for sure. Oh, they got a double neck. That's cool. Look at that thing. Yeah, they haven't been doing well. I know Dean has been having legal troubles with Gibson, which has been sad. So I haven't been really happy about that. Let's see what BC Riches we got out there, because those are also really pretty. You can get some really gorgeous guitars. So, where are the used ones? Show me the used guitars. Not a lot. Wow, there's only like 100. Yeah, they are not doing well. That sucks, man. Low to high. Here we go. Used 99. Yeah, I hope you like black, because that's the only color basically you get on here. Yeah. Here we go. Here's a blue one. But this is probably the prettiest one. The Mockingbird. You had a Warlock? This is the Mockingbird. This is like, I think this is a great design for a body. Yeah, it's got the quilt cherry. I'm not a big fan of cherry. Yeah, never been a fan of it. But it looks good. It's a good design. Kind of looks like a battle axe. Like a literal, like you could just behead somebody with that thing. Yeah, BC Rich. I think Ibanez has some really pretty guitars for the money. Let's look at Ibanez. Okay, we want to look at guitars. Used. That's the cool thing about used guitars. Oh, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Hold on. We got metallic, like turquoise, in this like crazy alien shape. It looks like an amoeba. I've played it. That's a Xiphos. Those are badass. That changes color. So depending on where the light's coming from, check that out. Look at that, dude. Beautiful. Oh man. Yeah, that thing literally looks like somebody had a symbiote from Spider-Man. Yeah, just a reverse headstock. See what else we got here. Let's keep looking. Let's go look at the inexpensive. You guys okay with seeing guitars? I'm just kind of rambling on. Ramble on. Let's see what we got for $300 or less. That's like a sweet spot. It looks yummy. It looks like, oh, here we go. Another blue. Oh, look, it looks like the ocean. It looks like a lagoon. Gorgeous. And it's got that quilt. This looks like that guitar that one kid was talking about. I love it, dude. I could tell you good deals and bad deals all day. It's great. Oh my God! Look at this. They mistyped it. They said it's a Tobacco Burst. That is definitely not Tobacco Burst. That is definitely blue. Tobacco Burst is like yellow and like a dirty yellow, like an orange. I'll show you what Tobacco Burst looks like. This is more like well, not necessarily that one. It's like a Honey Burst. Tobacco Burst like fades to black, which is pretty cool looking. But still, this is more like a Tobacco Burst, like a Sunburst right here. If you look at it, it's like brown. You know what I mean? So Tobacco's a little bit lighter. So yeah, I'll look up a Tobacco Burst. I don't even think that's technically a Ibanez color. Yeah, see what I mean? It's like a yellowy, fades to black pretty aggressively. There's a bunch of different types that say they're a Tobacco Burst, but it depends on who's doing it that day and stuff, because they all do that stuff by hand. See, this is dark Tobacco Burst. That's definitely orange. What are you talking about, man? But traditionally, if I had to pick a Tobacco Burst, it'd be like this one. Yeah, just like straight up black right here, and then it's like yellow to kind of an orange. Beautiful, gorgeous guitar. Then there's like bourbon. Dude, if you look at Les Paul colors and Strat colors, there's so many different variations. I think Lemon Burst is my favorite. One of my favorite Les Paul colors. These are terrible pictures, though. Hold on. Let's go to Sweetwater. Sweetwater is good because they take individual pictures of each guitar they're selling. So it's really great. Yeah, well, see you later, buddy. Look at Lemon Burst. So Lemon Burst is great. Oh, here we go. Let's check this out. You know what? Actually, hold on. That's a terrible top, I'll tell you that. That's like half the guitar. What is going on? It's like brown here. And then it just suddenly changes to a light color. Yeah, we're not doing that. No way. Hold on. We're going to look up Lemon Burst. We're going to go to images. You know somebody took better pictures. All right, here we go. Much better pictures. Okay, here we go. Let's check this guy out. Yeah, this is what I would want. Something like that. That's funny. It has a little knot down there. See it? It has a little belly button. That's pretty funny. But yeah, you want like a nice little streak of the flames on the top of the guitar. That's what I would want. I like that. I think it looks great. That's a really weird. Why would you pay that much money for something with an imperfect top like that? Come on, man. The reason I say it is because it's like $3,000 to $5,000 to $6,000. So it's like, what? Yeah, you want it to be perfect. You want it to be absolutely perfect. You don't want to have like a knot or something like that, which is really unusual. Just no thing. I've had better Gibson USA tops than that, which is really weird. So crazy. Yep, I'm in a band, Jared. If you want to listen to the music, you can. Linked in the bio. It's all there, buddy. Let's see here. Any other guitars anyone likes? You guys are more than welcome to ask me questions. See, this is what you'd want in a top. Look at how figured that is. Looks like an ocean of honey. Yummy. Look at that thing. Just gorgeous. Yeah, that's what I would want. That's bananas. Great top on that thing. A couple little spots though, a couple little imperfections there, but not a big deal. Can you please play Cowboys from Hell for a second? Yeah, I got you, dude. You want to hear Cowboys from Hell? 100%, I will play that for you. Here we go. Ready? Get my acoustic out real quick. Here we go. So you're a cowboy from hell. I don't know how to play that song, dude. Anyways, back to guitars. But yeah, this is a very beautiful, beautiful top on it. So, but yeah, if you guys have a guitar you're thinking about buying, or if you got questions about it, you can ask me if you'd like to. I used to sell guitars for a long time and been playing for 20 years. Played professionally for the last 2. It's been great. It's been great, man. Actually, let me put that down. Any more questions about guitar? Anybody want to talk about music, streaming? Quiet crowd today. Very interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys have a topic you want to talk about, how about this? How about I ask you guys a question? Who do you think is the greatest guitar player living today? Who do you guys think is the best living today? I want to know. Well, let me see what you guys have to say about that. Or you guys just like guitar? Very quiet crowd today. Am I playing Nirvana? Yes, I am. I love Nirvana. It's my favorite band. Yeah, 9 p.m. I always go check and play some music for you. Is there anyone I should check out, Zoe says? I mean, if we're talking about straight-up guitar playing, because usually people talk about guitar players, they want straight-up just guitar playing. I think Tosin Abasi from Animals as Leaders is absolutely otherworldly. He's great. Paul Gilbert's really good. He's been around for a while, though. Yeah. Fallon says the lead from Red Hot Chili Peppers or Pink Floyd. Oh, David Gilmour is from Pink Floyd, and God, what's his name? John Frusciante. I don't know how to say his name completely, but John Frusciante from Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's good too. He's awesome. Daniel says, are you going to play Pantera? Yeah, what do you want to hear? I can play any Pantera song you want to hear, except for maybe a handful. What do you want to hear? Bill says, play The Man Who... Wait, hold on a second. Everybody's asking me to play different songs. How will I ever keep up? Oh, we'll figure it out. Let's see. Yeah, John Frusciante's pretty good. I like his guitar playing. He's a fellow Jaguar player, fellow Strat guy. Very good guitar player. Daniel says, Floods, please. You got it. I'll play it for you right now. How does that go? Something like that? Hold on. Something like that, right? Oh wait, it's Cast away. Sorry, I got mixed up with what song I was playing. What did you ask for again? I'm sorry. I forgot. Just cast away. It's the same chords, which is funny. I'm sending SOS to the world. That's a way better joke than you guys deserve if you didn't laugh at that. You don't know anything about that song. Floods is played with the same chords. It's pretty fun. Well, it's almost same chords. It feels the same to me. But what do I know? Just a YouTube guy. That's pretty funny, though. Need some reverb, or not reverb, I need some. I don't know how to play it, dude. How does it go, though? Gets a little distortion on there. Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys got no questions, if you guys don't want to ask me anything, that's okay. I'm gonna get off then. I'm gonna prepare for my show later tonight. It's been a real ball. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. I'll talk to you guys some other time. It's all good if you guys don't have questions, but if you got no questions, there's no show. So, all right, I gotta get off.